Well, joining me via Skype is a public affairs analyst, Abdulateef Ishowo. Good morning and thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Now, the severity of the situation is what was rightly painted from that report. I wonder if you watched. I wanted to talk to us how much impact this is going to have on Nigeria, so to speak, because the issue of food sufficiency is what we have been trying to achieve for a very long time. And now we have COVID-19 coming to, change the dynamics of things. How do we handle this? What is the situation on the ground?
Well, thank you very much. What we should understand is that even before COVID-19, to what extent of food security in the country? If you look at it, agriculture was basically one of the most valuable sectors of the Nigerian economy, as it contributes more than 40% of the total annual crop in Nigeria. Aside from that, it accounts for 70% of the non-oil exports. It employs about 70% of the country's labor force. And if you look at it in the pre-independent era, agriculture provided enough food for us, for Nigerian populace. In fact, food production during this period was at subsistence and self-sufficient levels. The economy was witnessing rapid growth due to booming trade in agricultural commodities exports. The economy grew at about 5.5% annually. But as it is now, right from in the 70s, when we experienced oil bloom, agriculture dwindled down tremendously, and we no longer concentrate on agriculture, thereby recording shortage of food in the country. So if you look at what is happening now, we have shortage of food. But to what extent is federal government considering food crisis, food insecurity as a national problem? It is basically a problem of individual households. If my children are not eating proteinous food, are not on nutrient food, it is not a concern of the federal government. And this has always constituted a problem even before the COVID-19. We experienced a situation whereby people were trooping into urban area. People were trooping into urban, leaving the rural areas in Nigeria. In Kwara State, for instance, people still live mostly in the rural area, but they basically provide food for themselves, not for the nation. This administration shut down the border that we should not consume foreign food any longer, especially rice. But as it is now, if you look at it, foreign rice is still coming in through the bush.
All right, now that the government is saying that farmers need to step up the plate because we are no longer going to be importing any form of food, how do we begin to take advantage of this situation as farmers and as government?
The rescue of the farmers. We still have, extent is the government encouraging the youth to go back into the farm. So government has to come in, but on the part of the farmers, they have to start producing what we consume, like rice, like guinea corn, and so on and so forth. If farmers in Nigeria wants to step up, there's no way, because everything is centralized on the government. There's no way they can produce without assistance of government. I mean, in bountiful, that will make food to be sufficient enough for the masses. Remember, people in the last few months now, people are complaining of the local rice that we are producing. It is either they are not neat enough, or when you cook them, they smell this kind of smell, what they use to preserve this food. No, the farmers in Nigeria have to step up, but unfortunately, the same elite have taken up the farms in Nigeria by investing sufficiently in farm, but exporting them, not really selling them into the system that will make this thing to come in bountiful. So by and large, the only way we can do now, there's nothing we can do now than to go back to farm. If our graduates are coming out from the universities, from their youth service corps, let there be a situation whereby each state, we have a policy through which they will be engaged in the farm. Not all of them that can be employed in the white-collar jobs.
All right, Abdulateef Ishowo, thank you for speaking with us.